The darkness of the tunnel was absolute. Evan's hand gripped the hilt of his sword, his other hand resting lightly on the stone walls to steady himself as they descended deeper into the unknown. Lyra, a few paces ahead, moved with practiced grace, her blue eyes scanning every shadow and corner of the passage. The air was damp, colder than it had been before, and a faint smell of decay lingered, as if the passage itself had not seen sunlight in centuries. "We're not out of danger yet," Lyra murmured, her voice echoing faintly in the hollow, cavernous space. "That door was just a coincidence. Whatever's behind it, it doesn't want us to get any further." Ethan nodded, his brow furrowing. "But we made it. We're still alive." "For now," Lyra said, her tone sharper now, more alert. She paused, holding up her hand to signal them to stop. Ethan obeyed, his breath quieting as he scanned the surroundings. There was no sound except the faint drip of water from the ceiling and the soft rustling of their movements. "We need to figure out where we are," Lyra said, glancing down at the ground. She knelt and ran her fingers along the smooth stone floor. No markings, no signs of tracks. At least, not yet. Ethan crouched next to her, his eyes scanning the passage ahead. It seemed to stretch endlessly, twisting and turning in ways that felt deliberately directing. This place was designed to confuse. His fingers brushed over the map, which had somehow survived the collapse of the chamber. The map's markings, now even harder to read in the dim light, seemed to indicate they were heading in the right direction, and there was still something off about the whole situation. "Something doesn't sit right," he said, standing up again. "This place feels alive." Lyra looked up at him, her eyes narrow. "Alive? I don't know how to explain it, but I've been in ruins. Bedford's place feels aware of us, like it's watching." She hesitated, considering his words. Could be the magic of the place, or some ancient word that's still active, or it could just be that we're both a little on edge. Maybe. Ethan adjusted his pack. "But we can't afford to be on edge. We need to keep moving." They continued down the tunnel, their pace slower now, every step careful. The walls closed in tighter the further they went, and the air grew heavier, the smell of damp earth and age growing stronger. Suddenly, the passage opened up into a large chamber. The walls were jagged and uneven, but in the center, there was something remarkable of vast, circular stone floor etched with intricate symbols. The floor seemed to pulse with a faint light, as if something beneath it was stirring. This was here before," Lyra whispered, taking a cautious step forward. Ethan squinted at the floor, the symbols glowing with an eerie blue light. "It looks like a map of some kind." Lyra stepped closer, her fingers brushing against the etch lines. "It's not just any map. This is a star chart, a constellation map, if I'm not mistaken." Her eyes widened. "But that doesn't make sense. This was built long before we even had recorded knowledge of the stars." Evan's mind raced. Had heard stories of ancient civilizations that had knowledge far beyond their time, but this was something else entirely. Could it be showing us a path? Lyra nodded, her voice low. "It could be. But there's something more to this. Look, Harris' symbol. It's not like the others. It's different. A key." Before Ethan could respond, the ground beneath their feet rumbled, and the walls of the chamber began to shift, grinding against one another. Dust and debris fell from the ceiling as a low growl reverberated through the stones. "We need to move," Ethan shouted, grabbing Lyra's arm and pulling her away from the center of the room. As they sprinted toward the exit, the stone floor cracked open, revealing a vast underground pit that hadn't been there moments before. From the depths of the pit, something stirred and thought and ancient and angry. A dark, slithering shape emerged, its form flickering like shadows. It was almost indistinguishable from the walls themselves, as if it were a part of the ruins, woven into their very structure. Evan's pulse quickened. What in the name of? Before he could finish, the creature lunged forward, a mass of raven tendrils and glowing eyes. Lyra drew her dagger with lightning speed, but the creature was too fast, its movements too erratic. Ethan unsheathed his sword, ready for battle. "We can't fight it here," Lyra yelled, backing away. "We need to find another way." With no time to lose, they bolted down the dark tunnel, the sound of the creature's pursuit growing louder with every step. Behind them, the walls continued to shift and groan, as if the entire place were alive and trying to keep them from escaping. "Hold on." Ethan gritted his teeth as he shoved a large stone out of their path, opening a narrow passage on the left. This way, they scrambled through the narrow opening just as the creature's tendrils slammed into the stone, causing the ground to shake violently. Evan's heart hammered in his chest as they stumbled into another chamber, this one filled with the remnants of old wooden crates and chests. Lyra panted, her eyes darting around. "Where are we now?" she asked, breathless. Ethan took a deep breath, scanning the room. "I don't know, but we need to regroup. And we need to figure out what this thing is and why it's trying to stop us." They didn't have much time. The creature was still hunting them, and the secrets of valor were still waiting just beyond the next obstacle.